REM sleep and NREM sleep. What's the difference between the two and what does each do for our body? Well, before I read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, I honestly had no idea. I'm Mike Mattiazzi, and today I'm going to give you the key takeaways that I got from this amazing book. And if you're new to my channel, welcome, and please subscribe for everything for fitness, for the mind, soul, and body. There are essentially two phases that are super critical for our brains and bodies, and I already mentioned them earlier, but I'll mention them again. They are NREM sleep and REM sleep. NREM sleep, or non-rapid eye movement sleep, can be broken down into 4 phases, with each phase getting deeper and deeper. When we are awake, our brains produce what is shortwave frequency thoughts, but while we are in NREM sleep mode, it produces what are called long frequency brainwaves. When we are in NREM sleep mode, there's no way for us to tell, although it is super critical for our brain health, because what it does is it takes the short-term memories we made throughout the day and unloads them into a longer-term memory data bank. You can think of it like a memory stick being unloaded onto a much larger hard drive. In fact, this is an analogy that Walker uses inside the book. This is why when we sleep so well, we happen to remember a lot more when we wake up. And that is why when you stay up all night studying, it is actually counterproductive. Even though you might stay awake longer to study more information, studies have shown that staying awake longer will actually make you retain less information. The other function of sleep, REM, or rapid eye movement sleep, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard before, is when our brains are producing short wave frequencies. This is commonly known as the dream state of sleeping. So I mentioned NREM sleep is extremely beneficial for the memory part of our brain. REM sleep, on the other hand, really helps for the emotional trauma part of our brain and helps unload all of that. Have you ever gone to sleep extremely upset and then woke up realizing that it wasn't even a big deal in the first place? You were almost concerned as to why you were so overwhelmed in the first place about it. This is REM sleep working at its finest, and this is where the term sleep on it actually comes from. REM sleep also plays a critical role on our brain's creativity, and is why often when we awaken from a dream state, we have these massive eureka kind of moments. An absolutely fantastic example that I love, which Walker gives in the book, is the Beatles legend Paul McCartney actually dreamed the legendary song Yesterday. He came up with the melody of the song in a dream, and when he awoke, he swore that he had to have heard it somewhere or even written it down, but he couldn't find any evidence that this was true. He then went on to make it a song, and it was a huge hit and still is today. Thomas Edison, who is one of modern man's greatest geniuses and made the light bulb come to life, was notorious for taking random bouts of sleep throughout the day only to get into a dream state so that way he can come up with brilliant ideas. I almost wonder if Edison invented the first alarm clock as well, because listen to what he would do. He would take a frying pan, place it to the side of his desk, and then in one hand over the frying pan, he would hold marbles. And as he would fall asleep, guess what would happen? He would, of course, drop the marbles onto the frying pan, immediately wake up from a dream state, and write down whatever ideas came to his head. Has this ever happened to you? Have you woken up from a dream and just had incredible brain blasts like Jimmy Neutron and just immediately started scribbling down things? Well, I know I have, and in fact, after I read this book, I now sleep with a notebook by my bedside and have in fact recorded many ideas on it throughout the night. So obviously you guys know I'm head over heels about everything health and wellness, but you have to listen to this. Beyond simply brain health, Walker argues sleep can enhance everything imaginable, including but not limited to economic GDP, lowering our spending on health issues, making us more effective at work and therefore earn our company more revenue, and ultimately make us feel younger and happier. He states multiple times in the book that a lack of sleep will just lead to an increased downward spiral of negative health issues. Good news, we can totally avoid this with 8 hours of sleep each night. The bad news is the term catch up on sleep is actually totally false. Once you lose that opportunity to get 8 hours of sleep, it is gone forever. In fact, sleep is not like a credit card debt where you can just put a tab on it and pay it off later. The lack of sleep leads to a lot of frightening things, including Alzheimer's, dementia, schizophrenia, cancer, strokes, and if you're deprived of it long enough, even death. So it is critical that we get 8 hours of sleep each night, as these problems are all irreversible. Being a sport guy, there was one study they did on Andre Iguodala while he was playing for the Golden State Warriors that I just have to read to you guys because it's just too cool to me. They essentially compared data to when Iguodala had more than 8 hours of sleep and less than 8 hours of sleep. When Andre had 8 hours or more of sleep a night, he had a 12% increase in minutes played, 29% increase in points per minute, 2% increase in 3-point percentage, and a 9% increase in free throw percentage. While on the other hand, when he had less than 8 hours of sleep a night, he had a 37% increase in turnovers and a 45% increase in fouls committed. Super interesting stuff. So there you go, athletes watching this, sleep does improve performance, and it is highly underrated. The book even gives you tips on how to improve your sleep, with one of the best tips being go to bed and wake up at the exact same time every day. Do note, however, that if you go to bed and are in bed for 8 hours, that doesn't necessarily mean you're getting 8 hours of quality sleep. So me, for example, I like to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, but if I go to bed at 9 p.m., I'm in bed for 8 hours, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm sleeping for 8 hours. What Walker means is sometimes it takes our bodies a little bit of time to actually unwind and start kicking into those NREM, REM phases to actually get quality sleep. It would therefore make sense for me to go to bed at 8 p.m. so that way I have a little bit more time for my body to fully shut down, and I do get, in fact, 8 hours of quality sleep. While there are many things that I loved from this book and I would love to share with you, I'm going to conclude this video with one paragraph from the book that was absolutely outstanding. Scientists have discovered a revolutionary new treatment that makes you live longer. It enhances your memory and makes you more creative. It makes you look more attractive, keeps you slim, and loses food cravings. It protects you from cancer and dementia. It wards off colds and the flu. It lowers your risk of heart attacks and stroke, not to mention diabetes. You'll even feel happier, less depressed, and less anxious. Are you interested? If so, you guys have to read this book ASAP. It's literally pure facts about sleep. It's so amazing. And if you'd like to buy it, please use the code in the description box to take you to a site that will allow you to purchase it. Okay guys, there you have it. Thank you so much for tuning in for today's video, and I really hope you got some key takeaways from this. And more importantly, I hope it inspired you to go out there and actually read the book. And even more importantly than that, I really hope you get a solid 8 hours of sleep tonight, because it's so important, it's so crucial, as you now know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also share with a friend or a family member who you think really needs to see this. Until next time guys, take care, have a great one, stay fit for the mind, body, and soul, and please feel free to reach out if you ever have any questions. Have a great one guys.